muting.
Okay. Once again, good afternoon and welcome to the webinar on bilateral and synergistic opportunities between Qatar and Germany, organized by Doha Bank. In this regard, I welcome all speakers of today's event. First of all, His Excellency, Dr. Claudius Fischbach, the new German ambassador to Qatar, Mrs. Katrin Lemke, representative of the German Industry and Commerce Office, Mr. Norbert Reg, founder and managing partner of Frankfurt International Consulting, and Dr. Sita Rahman, Group CEO of Doha Bank, and all distinguished guests joining this webinar. Please let me introduce myself. I'm Mike Gellert and I'm heading the rep office of Doha Bank in Frankfurt. Out of Frankfurt, we are covering Germany and neighboring European countries. Doha Bank is one of the leading local banks in Qatar, and we are having successful international operations in 18 countries. In the past years, we could develop strong and good standing relationships with German banks and corporates alike. I think that today's webinar covers an important and appropriate topic for both countries in this present economic climate, to explore mutual business opportunities. Just let me give you a quick overview about Qatar. The country is having a land area of round about 11,600 square kilometers, which is about 50% of the German federal state of Hesse. It is one of the fast-growing economies in the Gulf region, and it is blessed with strong gas reserves, which have an estimated lifespan of around about 130 years, whereas the country currently supplies around about 1/3 of the global LNG requirements. S&P has recently affirmed a AA- rating with a stable outlook. The size of the local GDP is around 190 billion US dollars and mainly driven by energy-related products. The vision for 2030 is, of course, to reduce the country's reliance on hydrocarbon exports and to promote the non-oil sectors. Both Germany and Qatar have developed a sound relationship over the past decades in all relevant fields. For instance, the overall trade stood at around 2 billion US dollars in 2019. Today, we are honored and privileged of having a representation of key institutions. Firstly, His Excellency Dr. Claudius Fischbach will address the mutual and beneficial relationship between Qatar and Germany. After that, Mrs. Katrin Lemke will guide us on the business opportunities for German corporates in Qatar. And then Mr. Norbert Reg will explore on market entry strategies for German corporates in the MENA region. Dr. Sita Rahman will finally present and share more information from Doha Bank's perspective, including how Qatar is steering the economy with the present COVID-19 challenges, the potential bilateral opportunities between both countries, and the role of Doha Bank. Now I would like to hand over to Dr. Sita Rahman for his further moderation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, and what a combination of speakers we have today. And first of all, let me have great pleasure and privilege to welcome our new ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany to Qatar, His Excellency Dr. Claudius Fischbach. I'm delighted to welcome him to Qatar, and our continuing association in bilateral terms, I'm sure, with his arrival, will be improving. With trade or investments, banking or finance, we will together build this partnership to enhance the bilateral opportunities in the days to come. We also have Mrs. Catherine Lemke, representative German Industry and Commerce, Mr. Norbert Rieck, founder and managing director, FIC Frankfurt International Consulting, our friend and partners over the years. As my chief representative has mentioned, since 2011, we have been in Germany. We are having a great experience in terms of bilateral promotions, and it's our pleasure and privilege to welcome all the distinguished guests participating across the globe from 19, 20 countries, as I saw a few minutes before. I'm sure we will be in a position to add value to further strengthen our objectives. Let me have the pleasure of welcoming Excellency Dr. Claudius Fischbaum. Over to you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much for these nice introductory words. Guten Tag, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Mr. Setaram, dear Mr. Gallet, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I hope that you can all hear and see me well. Is that the case? I see faces nodding, that's fine. Please allow me to first of all thank the Doha Bank for organizing this timely webinar and for granting me this opportunity to share a few thoughts with you on the bilateral relationship between Qatar and Germany. I have assumed my duties as ambassador of Germany to Qatar only recently. I spent the latest 7 years in South America, 3 years at our embassy in Brasilia, and actually 4 years as ambassador to Paraguay. In a certain way, I'm actually coming back to my professional roots now, as our first posting in my personal career was in the early 1990s in Tehran, Iran, just across the Gulf. I have had the pleasure of serving in one other Arab country, beautiful Morocco, in the late 2000s. Ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing economic opportunities in the bilateral relations between Qatar and Germany in light of a global economic downturn. We are only now beginning to understand the profound repercussions the corona pandemic has had and continues to have on the economies of our two countries and indeed globally. And even though both Germany and Qatar have taken swift and comprehensive measures to contain the virus, limit the loss of life in a comparatively successful manner, both economies have taken a severe hit caused by the unprecedented measures that had to be implemented globally to contain the spread of COVID-19. There definitely is still a long way to go to adjust to the new normal, let alone to overcome the pandemic. Yet, quote, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity, as Albert Einstein allegedly stated. And I'm convinced that Germany and Qatar are in a good position to take advantage of this situation. They can capitalize on their strong and long-standing business relations based on mutual trust and respect in reviving their economies. German companies are very much committed to their presence in Qatar, which sometimes dates back many decades. More than 100 German companies operate in Doha. Some of them opened their offices even before the independence of Qatar in 1971. They have become trusted partners of Qatar and will continue to support the amazing development of the country in striving to achieve its National Vision 2030. Just to quote one example, at the end of 2019, the Prime Minister of Lower Saxony, Mr. Stefan Weil, led a large business delegation of 50 plus companies to Qatar. His visit contributed to strengthening existing business relationships and explore new business opportunities, and other delegations had to postpone their visits to Qatar due to the pandemic, but will follow suit as soon as circumstances will allow for it. German companies are also seizing opportunities arising for investments in Qatar. Volkswagen, for example, is a major investor in the new free zones established by Qatar. The company will establish an automotive research cluster here in Qatar. More businesses from Germany will certainly follow. Reciprocally, as many of you will know, Qatar and its sovereign wealth fund, the Qatar Investment Authority, is a key investor in German companies. And we have indeed very much appreciated the announcement made by His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Army of the State of Qatar, to invest an additional 10 billion euros in Germany. In the first step, QIA has proven Albert Einstein right in seizing an opportunity arising from the pandemic by investing in CureVac, a leading pharmaceutical company in Germany and a major hopeful in researching a COVID-19 vaccine. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also convinced that this crisis offers a second once-in-a-generation opportunity. That is to build our economies back better. We need a green recovery. We need a green recovery, connecting our recovery from the economic impacts of the pandemic to achieving our objectives under the Paris Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. During the first summit of Germany's EU presidency, in fact, member states have agreed to earmark 25% of the 7-year budget of the Union for climate investments. We believe that economic growth and climate protection do not at all constitute a contradiction in terms. On the contrary, we believe our economies will only thrive if we make protecting the environment a top priority. Qatar's 800 megawatt Al Qarsa'a solar plant is a case in point, with energy costs that are price competitive with fossil fuels. Together, Qatari and German companies should identify and implement additional green projects and jointly develop know-how and technological edge in this area. To achieve this, our countries and its businesses can build on a long-standing cooperation between both companies and between chambers of commerce from our two countries. The Qatari Businessmen Association and the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry have established a joint task force for trade and investment. On a governmental level, a biannual joint economic commission has established a sound institutional framework to discuss means to ease doing business for our companies and to further strengthen bilateral economic ties. I am looking forward to its 7th edition in 2021, hopefully in form of a presencia meeting and not a virtual meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, Germany is also partnering with Qatar in many other fields to jointly tackle the challenges of the future. For example, Qatar is an important partner for us during our non-permanent membership of the United Nations Security Council in 2019-2020, sharing a common vision of a multilateral framework and a rules-based world order, which is of decisive importance, especially for the business world. And in order to end my intervention on a very positive note, we are looking forward together to a great sports event, the FIFA World Championship 2022, which is to give a boost to bilateral trade and which will be a chance for Qatar to make itself even more known to the world. On a personal note, I would like to add that I was the German coordinator in diplomatic preparations for the Copa in Brazil in 2014. So I was pretty much involved in that big event, and I admit that it was an inspiring and thrilling event. I'm optimistic that in 2022 we will all talk about Corona only in the past tense. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to strengthening ever more economic ties between Germany and Qatar. Let me thank you for this early opportunity to speak to you, and I hope to get to know many of you personally, face to face, in the coming weeks. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. What a brilliant summary of your essence of your mission, and what has been accomplished has been very profound between Germany and Qatar, I can tell you that. Albert Steers, the famous designers, have been part of the overall contributors for the design engineering for the stadiums here. And you touched it so beautifully. To sum it up, you talked of the trade, you talked about on the overall green mission. That's the focus now, world over. Environment sustainability. One thing this crisis has transformed, all of us human beings can alter their attitude, and we have changed a lot. Look at the carbon emission reduction. We are all driving towards carbon neutral society. You touched on the foreign policy, how exactly Qatar's considered vision for the universal mission has been very profound, and Germany has been in the forefront of supporting the foreign policy day one, distinctly. That's a very special relationship. On the banking front also, it's all going to be green banking, whether investments or lending. A portion of the risk-weighted capital needs to be allocated to create sustainability. And that's what we have done. As an institution, Doha Bank, we have funded the water conservation multi-billion deal by Karama, the electricity water company. We supported a mission that His Highness Emir has inaugurated a year before. So we are committed to set universal standard in terms of economics, the convergence of ecology and the economics, not only economics. So the purpose of your mission is well said, and we will do a constructive engagement with you to promote the bilateral opportunities. Let me move on to the next speaker, Mrs. Catherine Lemke, Representative, German Industry and Commerce Office of Qatar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yes. Firstly, I would also like to thank Doha Bank for organizing this event and giving me the opportunity to share a few brief thoughts on German-Qatari trade relations. And I'm going to try to share my screen because I've prepared a short presentation. 1 second. I hope that everyone can see it now. As the time is very limited, I'm going to focus more on Qatar's investment climate and the business opportunity it represents for German or international companies. Before I do that, please allow me to give a short introduction about our office and the services we provide for those who don't know us yet. Alongside the diplomatic missions, our office represents, as you can see, one of the 3 main pillars of German foreign trade and investment promotion. Officially mandated by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy in Germany, we have commenced duty in Qatar in 2004, and ever since have supported the German business community here on the ground, as well as interested German companies to enter the Qatari market. We are part of an extensive network of chambers of foreign trade with around 140 offices in 90 countries. Our main focus is assisting German companies that are looking to expand their business to Qatar by providing different services such as market intelligence. We assist in setting up legal representation offices here, and match with potential business partners as well. In close cooperation with our foreign trade and inward investment agency called Germany Trade and Invest, we also support Qatari and local businesses with their entry to Germany. As Ambassador Dr. Fischbach has already pointed out in his welcome note, the bilateral relations between Germany and Qatar are based on long-standing ties, and they have grown out over decades between our two countries. Qatar also remains one of the fastest growing economies and therefore presents a variety of investment opportunities for German companies. In order to achieve a sustainable diversification, foreign expertise is needed as well as investment. Looking back at when the political rift started with its neighboring countries in June 2017, this incident has triggered a major shift in adopting open market policies and creating various investment incentives in order to make it easier for foreign companies to come and access the Qatari market. The most important probably is the revision of Qatar's investment law that has removed the necessity for a local partner, meaning that foreign companies now can or are allowed to operate their business 100% foreign owned across all sectors with very few limitations. Besides that, new visa regulations also facilitate the entry to the country as well as the recruitment of personnel and staff, which is very important. Looking at the business opportunities and the sectors, apart from what I like to call the more traditional sectors, the oil and gas and the construction sector, Qatar has launched an array of very interesting initiatives across other sectors that represent a lot of opportunities for participation. In late October last year, 2019, for example, Qatar has launched an AI strategy, artificial intelligence strategy, as part of a significant investment in the broader ICT sector. The country now aims to digitize 100% of its state services by this year. The so-called TASMU Smart Qatar program is an interesting initiative aiming to transform the country into a world-class smart city that has latest digital solutions to increase the standard of living, but also increase Qatar's competitiveness on an international level. The government intends to invest around 6 billion Qatari riyals across over the next 5 years across 5 priority sectors: transportation, logistics, healthcare, sports, as well as environment. Food security is another issue that's at the forefront of Qatar's priorities due to the essential role it plays in the economic independence of the state. Since the political and economic isolation by its neighboring country, Qatar has boosted the agricultural and livestock sector primarily through building a lot more capacity. The country's national strategy for food security focuses on 4 main pillars: international trade, logistics, enabling the domestic markets, enhancing the domestic self-sufficiency, and also increasing the strategic reserves. In order to achieve that, Qatar has established specialized companies for food, livestock, fish production, and presented already numerous agricultural investment projects to the private sector. Other than that, the country is looking for technology transfer and strategic development of Hamad Port. We've already mentioned, like all the other countries in the region, also Qatar is trying to tackle, let's say, the double crisis of coronavirus and also the oil market volatility. Thankfully, Qatar's main economic driver is the export of LNG, and hence it might be a little bit less affected than the other countries. The LNG expansion obviously will be top priority and also driving the economy's economic recovery of the country. Qatar Petroleum has announced that it's also not scaling back on its plan to build 6 new LNG production facilities to increase the output. Another interesting sector that offers plenty of opportunities is, of course, sports. Qatar is very sport enthusiastic and already hosts some of the largest international sporting events in the country. So the coming years leading up, especially to the World Cup, the sports sector will present German and also international companies with various opportunities in sports infrastructure, but also in event and crowd management, as well as security, wearable marketing, anything that is related to sports. It's also noteworthy that major stakeholders like Qatar Development Bank, for example, are encouraging especially small and medium-sized companies, local as well as international, entrepreneurs in the sports industry to develop new ideas and concepts here in Qatar through different startup and accelerator programs, which are worth having a closer look at. This is just a few, or an overview of a few of the companies that are present in Qatar, and I apologize in advance for not having everyone present here. As Ambassador Dr. Fischbach has already mentioned, we have around 100 German companies that are operating in Doha, and some of them have been here for many decades. One example is leading supplier of efficient power generation and transmission infrastructure solutions, Siemens, that have been active in Qatar already for 4 decades. With close to 600 employees, Siemens contributes to transmitting and distributing more than 60% of the country's power. Just recently, Qatar's General Electricity and Water Corporation, KAHRAMA, has started the implementation of something called Smart Electricity and Water Meters project together with Siemens. Also, late December 2019, during the last Doha Forum, representatives of Volkswagen and Qatar Investment Authority signed another mobility project. The goal is to develop a groundbreaking autonomous transport project and transform the future of urban mobility and sustainable commercial deployment of autonomous driving shuttles and bus services here in Qatar, not only for the World Cup, but also beyond. So in short, very brief, I wanted to highlight that there's a lot of opportunities, not only for international big players, but also small and medium-sized companies that are encouraged also by many stakeholders here in Qatar in various sectors. And if any German company needs support or assistance, we are available, and you can contact us anytime for support in entering the Qatari market. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine Lemke. It's a good summary. I think it was short, but I think it's succinct. You're focused on Qatar's business reforms, and that's the competitive offerings. You touched upon various sectors, including food security. Qatar is building up since 2017. The self-reliance has been the major focus now. Where do you see more opportunities in terms of food security? I mean, at dairy, we are self-sufficient now. What are the other areas where Germany can contribute?
I think anything along the lines as like new technologies in terms of increasing the output of, cultivating crops, for example. We have a lot of technology and also knowledge in that regard, new ways, hydroponic farming, etc. So in all these areas, I think German companies can provide a lot of expertise together with Qatari partners.
Again, you touched on the startup, and Qatar's business incubators, startup programs are there. Qatar Development Bank as fintech, as well as they have financial support for know-how. They give the seed capital, and the banks are also lending the debt. Equity and debt comes in multiple forms. We can support the startups as a part of Task Move Smart program. So how do we enhance the flow of startup from Germany to here?
Yeah, so we're already working with our network in Germany, with our partners and industry associations, to create awareness about the programs, because a lot of companies are not aware that these funding programs are also accessible for international companies and not only for local companies. So we try to create awareness, and just spread word. We actually had, in the first batch of the Sports Accelerator program that was hosted by QDB, Qatar Development Bank, together with other stakeholders in Qatar, we actually had 2 German companies that went to the final. So there's already interaction, but obviously there's room to grow. So it's on our part that we create more awareness in Germany that these opportunities are there for German companies.
Thank you, Catherine. The next speaker is, again, he can answer many questions on how to create and connect the companies between Germany and Qatar. Mr. Norbert Rieg, founder and managing director of Frankfurt International Consulting. Over to you. You can highlight your essentials so that we can have a conversation on how to promote further enrollment of more companies. Catherine mentioned 100 companies plus. Perhaps we should reach 4 digits in the coming days.
Hopefully. Can you hear me? Is this good to hear? And
yes.
Let me share my screen first. You see that screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Your Excellency, Dr. Fischbach, first of all, I would like to warmly welcome you to Qatar. I'm sure you will enjoy the upcoming years in Doha as much as you did durante su presencia in America Latina. Dear Dr. Setaraman, dear Catherine, Mike, and dear participants, thank you very much indeed for giving me the opportunity to actively participate in this exclusive webinar. My name is Norbert Rieg. I'm married to a German, but in love with the Middle East since a very long time. I have been traveling to the region for more than 150 times for the past 20 years. As managing director of Doha Bank, where I was in charge of the international wealth management, and subsequently for our own firm, Frankfurt International Consulting. Allow me briefly introduce our company to you. Our firm was established in 2011 with the objective to support German small and medium enterprises, both with their business development into the MENA region, as well with their target to attract long-term partners and strategic investors to their shareholder bases. We also represent Frankfurt Financial Center in the MENA region. Nevertheless, in our core business, we are sector agnostic and we support companies across all fields. Many of today's participants have been running their business successfully, sometimes since decades and sometimes over generations. You know your product and service much better than any consultant, any professional advisor can do. But we as Frankfurt International, we have an extremely valid network in the region, and we know how to make best use out of our network for you and your business objectives. Hence, you have the product and we have the relevant network. Within our family office section, one of the 2 main pillars, along with the business development, we target MENA-based institutional and wealthy private investors, corporates, governments, and ministries, as well as top merchant families. We support these Qatari-based groups in diversifying their strategic investments. Our focus is not on bankable assets like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. It is about real strategic investments in German small and medium enterprises and technology companies on an equity basis. It is about enhancing their local product portfolios by adding German products to their offer. It's about identification of real estate assets and private equity in Germany. It is overall to expand made in Germany by building bridges to German partner. There was a change. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we could see the screen, but it has to flow. Yeah.
So which page you see?
Still in front stage, first page. Can you move on? We can move it from our side as well.
So I should be on slide 3. Can you move one more? So now we go to the next page. Yeah. When speaking about market entry strategies for German corporates in the MENA region, I would like to do that with our slogan, connect and create. About how to connect, it is about the relevant network and in general about 3 important groups to support a German corporate with their market access. These groups are facilitators, multiplicators, and different partners. Go to next, no, stay, no, one back, please. Facilitators are supporting your efforts when accessing a new market. In Germany, it's, for example, IHK and any consultant. In the region, we speak about AHK, embassies, agencies, and professional services. Multiplicators are mainly in Germany based and supporting their group of members. We speak here about GORFA or NUMOV based in Berlin, so the German Arab Chamber of Commerce, the Near and Middle East Verein, or EMA, as well as industrial associations such as PDI. Some of these multiplicators have an industrial coverage, while others might have a regional focus. Last important group is the partners. These are most important group for your ongoing future success, such as local corporates, entrepreneurial families, corporates, or governmental entities in Qatar, but as well German entities with an already existing footprint and experience in the region. When connecting a German company with the right facilitator, multiplicator, or partner, the moderation is key. Moderation as well as enthusiasm and commitment of all such players. So please, next slide. When thinking of create, we speak about the different ways how to access a new market. From a pure distribution partnership to local production. From a joint venture to establishing your pure 100% own local footprint. Plenty of questions to be answered. Subsidiary or branch, free zone or mainland setup, licensing or franchise, and so on. Some ideas starts with a capital contribution into a German entity and ends up with a local partnership covering several markets. Sometimes the joint venture joint venture solution is the target, but it ends up with a distribution agreement plus an equity participation in the German entity. Important is the clear target combined with a flexible approach. This flexible approach is seen as key success to all your efforts. Next slide, please. This was, for example, the case with a German e-commerce specialist. Long before COVID-19, this company was interested in the MENA region. We took them to Lebanon, to Saudi, to Kuwait, Oman, Egypt, and UAE. And guess what? Where did they end up setting up? One back, please. Can you go one slide back? And guess what? Where did they end up setting up their joint venture? In Qatar. We found it very professional, yet welcoming and straightforward business partners. A local JV was established, followed by 2 further subsidiaries in the region. Here on the slide, you see a picture of the signing ceremony, which was moderated by His Excellency Sigmar Gabriel, together with my business partner, Mr. Youssef Ahmed, top right in the picture. Youssef sent as well his best regards to our today's audience. Other successful projects with German Qatari partners were, for example, a project of Deutsche Börse to attract Qatari investors, a successful moderation or mediation we supported last year, as well as multiple roadshows for the Frankfurt Financial Center to Doha. With this, next slide, with this, I would like to conclude and to encourage all of you to strengthen your efforts in the overall MENA region and in particular in Qatar. The development during the last years should be seen as a proof of concept with a clear guidance for the future. Happy, Dr. Zetaraman, to hand over to you back for your today's keynote speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norbert. I think it's a good summary. You brought me all the major issues which I will try to answer, whether it is free zone or onshore or offshore. What are the opportunities available? What are the various business reforms taken place in the last few years, especially the last 3 years? The way Qatar has transformed for self-reliance has been very business friendly, and COVID has accelerated the whole process as such. Tell me, from your presentation, we want to know what are the German industries who are looking for entry in Qatar? What sort of industries?
We are right now in different projects together with a software company who wants to establish in Qatar, so German software, but as well real German production companies. We have a mandate of a German company producing tents and solar plants. Yeah, so solar is very much on focus, software, construction. These are the main areas we're active right now.
And also tell me, we do have Ultranet individuals who are interested in investments. Now, what are the sectors they can invest in Germany, in your opinion? You know both the markets. You are familiar with the MENA region, and definitely for private banking customers, if they are interested in investment in Germany, what are the specific areas you suggest?
I would say the most interest we have seen over the last, let's say, months, even during Corona times, was technology, but as well real estate. Yeah, there was a huge demand on real estate into Germany. Could it be residential as well, offices who might have a little bit problems now, hotels, but a lot of Qatari investors are already invested in London, in France, but there is still space to grow within Germany. So I would say technology companies on an equity contribution, but as well as real estate investments.
Are they interested in fintech as well? I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Because Qatar's fintech is in the nascent stage. We need rapid transformation in the coming months and years. And Qatar Economy is focused on digital governance as well, but we need participative, corporates. So if you can suggest us through our corporate finance, we can work together and take it forward. Absolutely, happy to support in this respect. Good, thank you, Norbert. And let me come to the summary of the opportunities. We have listened to 3 experts now, including His Excellency Ambassador. I want to present to you the bigger picture as such and how we can converge in terms of substance to promote bilateral values. Understand what we are going through is an extraordinary set of changes and challenges. Conceptually, we have a transformation in the new world order. We had 4 sort of risk we are seeing. One is the economic risk and governance to fix the economic risk. Fiscal and monetary measures have been taken across the globe to fix the economic risk and bring in financial stability. Trillions of dollars have been pumped across the globe. Over 25 trillion has been put through by various governments across the globe. 190 countries are engaged in making sure humanity is restoring its dignity. What is happening is truly unforeseen. After 1930 depression, we are in great recession. So that's the first one. The human risk, 25 million people are impacted. nearly 850,000 people are no more. This is not an ordinary issue. It's painful. We have taken measures to fix the risk in terms of social governance, hygiene practice, distancing. Now we have to make the momentum to restore normalcy. Every country is contemplating options in piecemeal process to bring in normalcy. Again, there are speculations whether the second wave can come like a fire and create an additional impact. We don't know, but there are major challenge still left out. Unless the entire 7 billion people around the world are fully administered the clinical solution, medical solutions, we are not sure the next day. That's the kind of challenge we are facing. The third risk which we are seeing is environment. Beautifully, His Excellency Ambassador Fishba has mentioned. I see it is a major issue, very big issue. Unless we build environment sustainability, our future generation is not well off. Look at the changing dynamics in the world. 27% of the global carbon emission come from China. 15% comes from United States. 10% come from Europe. 7% from India. How do we create carbon neutral society? How do we take this crisis into an opportunity to look at alternatives, change the energy mix? I'm not sure. What sort of reorganization is going to come? How do we factor environment into the trading? How do we build new partnership between Qatar and Germany, for example, to bring in further environment sustainability? Of course, they are participating in the solar. And again, petrochemicals are imported from here, but is there an opportunity for LNG as well? We don't know. We have bigger questions to answer. We also have social risk. We are human beings. We love each other. We like each other every day. Everything is interesting as long as we love people. The love is what is driving the whole humanity, human dignity. Not seeing each other, not physically interacting. This is something which is truly, we are trying to adopt, but it is how long? We are passionate, we are compassionate at times. We want to be normal. That's the risk we have. So this needs to be mapped in substance. This needs to be mapped in total terms. Germany has come out beautifully in terms of healthcare management. 250,000 people are impacted for a population of 83 million. And the mortality rate is less than 10,000, 9,300 plus. It's a good sign. Qatar also has done extremely well. Over 650,000 people are tested. Mortality is less than 200. The healthcare has worked through well. Infrastructure, which Qatar has invested over the years, has worked. Now, what is in store? How do we convert this crisis into an opportunity? That's the question. How do we eliminate extreme poverty in the world? Let's look at the universal missions. How do we bring in food security? How do we ensure universal education, onshore, offshore, online, offline education? That's the beauty. The gender equality we could bring in. Bigger opportunity to use this crisis, because rapid acceleration in terms of digital governance can enhance the opportunity for even household people are coming to building a knowledge economy. That's an opportunity. in my pursuit of interpretation. Universal health care, we have to care about our basic fabric. If your body and mind is not stable and functional, what's the purpose of living? So universal health care is a major transformation. At least the right footprints have been set in to have the hygiene. The measurement mechanism is now giving a new world order in terms of hygiene, healthcare. That's we need to establish for the entire world. In an interdependent, interconnected world, we have to care for everyone, humanity at large. How do we use the digital governance for eliminating the bureaucracy, eliminating the parallel economies, corruption, and making sure we bring in transparency and ensure we have peace, justice, and institution, truth of justice prevails. We have to look at it objectively, for which we need to build partnership. We need to reinvigorate humanity into prospects. We need to focus on making sure human dignity is at stake, and we need to come together, build this partnership. And that's the need of the hour. And that's what every human person, human kind has to work on it. With that perspective in mind, countries to country, we have to collaborate. Continent to continent, we have to collaborate. And we realize we are global citizens to build this partnership. One such endeavor is today to build this partnership between Qatar and Germany. And let's look at what Qatar is all about. In global terms, we have seen the reflection of IMF predicting not less than 4.9% is the contraction. 4.9% contraction. Advanced economies are grossly underperforming to the tune of 8% in aggregate terms. Emerging markets, so-called developing economies, are going to grossly underperform to the tune of 3%. Middle East, North Africa, Afghanistan, Pakistan are all going to underperform to the tune of 3.5%. That's the world we are in. Different projections are coming, but by and large, this is a consensus provided there is no second wave. If there is a second wave, the disconnection could be further. We don't know whether we can restore normalcy next year. Germany handled well. 7% contraction is a projection. Inflation is under control. Enormity of the challenge is not one country, one continent, world at large. That's the essence of it. And how can you disconnect people? Today we are in paralysis. And how do we come out of it? And how do we build this partnership between these two blocks? That's the purpose of the discussions. Let me come to the specifics in terms of the presentation. Let's talk about the measures which are taken across the globe in terms of economic governance I mentioned. We also have to make sure the debt servicing capacity of individual or institutions comes in. The liquidity crisis should not move into a funding crisis. Funding crisis should not move into a solvency or sovereign issue. In 2008, it was confined to one single sector, financial services, because subprime crisis. Today, this impacts every single sector. So, lowering the interest rate, the monetary policy comes from the technocrats, central bankers. They lowered the interest rate, containing the interest rate, and probably making sure there is no hike for the next few years. Even if you look at the changing dynamics in terms of inflation, America has spelled out last Wednesday, Federal Reserve Chairman has mentioned he's not going to think of interest rates. He wants to look at inflation so that the growth momentum comes in. So all sort of alignment between fiscal and monetary prudence comes in. That's the essence of it. So let me move on to the next slide. Qatar economy, how it's going to perform. Qatar economy is going to contract to the tune of nearly 5%. It is supposed to regain its momentum next year by 5%. 4.5% contraction this year, next year 5% growth with a possible current account and fiscal deficits. German economy has a different equation in terms of inflation, the growth momentum. Next year again will be gaining its positive territory, and we have reasons to believe both this economy can align in multiple form and substance. Now, Qatar economy in specific terms, if you look at let me move on to the specifics of the Qatar economy.
Located on the region's busiest shipping route, Qatar is perfectly positioned for international trade, with direct air and sea connections to Asia, Africa and Europe. Qatar is becoming a leading destination for next-generation business models. Its thriving, knowledge-based economy has helped secure its place among the most competitive business environments in the world, an ideal destination for foreign investment. The past 4 decades have seen a 9-fold increase in Qatar's population to 2.7 million. The current political blockade by neighboring countries has only served to strengthen the nation's self-sufficiency, and strategic investment continues to accelerate. Qatar has already spent $33 billion on infrastructure projects, with new contracts to be awarded over the next 3 years, not least with the 2022 FIFA World Cup on the horizon. The national strategy, Vision 2030, is even more ambitious. Qatar is known as the world's leading supplier of liquefied natural gas and a leading player in aviation and sports and the media.
This is Qatar economy for my German friends. When it comes to central bank, they have taken measures. Germany has pumped nearly 750 billion in terms of fiscal support. Qatar has put 20.5 billion, 75 billion Qatari riyals, and we have both funded as well as non-funded support in terms of easing the debt servicing, interest rate waiver, loan installments waiver, and sometimes there are concessional advantage for specific industries, impacted industries. They have taken measures, and financial institutions have observed the healthcare regulations and also making sure our banking service is not disrupted. So far, we have managed with accuracy. Regulators are monitoring the additional liquidity time and again. They supported all the financial institutions. Proactive support for funding support. That's the public-private partnership model. As you know, Qatar government has got stake in all the local banks, 16.6%. And that is the public-private partnership model we built in since 2008. Now, additional liquidity was pumped. That's not alone. Now, on the hydrocarbon side, Catherine has already mentioned, we're going to move in terms of LNG production from 77 to 110 by 2025, 127 by 2027. Let's see what the minister has.
But as I mentioned, regarding the North Field, we are full steam ahead. We are, as we have mentioned in the past, we're going to be awarding all our contracts for North Field expansion project. We have 2 phases, the east and the south expansion. We're going to go from 77 million tons per annum to 110 million tons per annum by 2025, and then up from 110 to 126 by the year 2027. We've ordered all the shipping requirements, and we've booked slots for about $20 billion. We've announced just a couple of weeks ago, and that's at the cost of around $20 billion US, and we've booked up 60% of the entire world's capacity of building LNG ships. So these, we call them our moving pipelines, if you will, but that's to have our full supply chain up and ready by the time we have all the developments in place.
That's the hydrocarbon side. Let's look at the glimpses of the non-hydrocarbon. FIFA 2022, Ambassador Fishbaugh has mentioned this beautifully. these are engineering marvels, the stadiums. Billions of dollars have been spent, and it is going to be a sustainable project development in substance. And that's what Mr. Hassan Fawadi, the Secretary General of FIFA 2022, is working hard in line with the government mission. Now, if you look at the So we're looking forward to host all our German friends for FIFA 2022. Meanwhile, the airport is the world class. I want to show you for this COVID preparation how Qatar civil aviation authorities have taken extraordinary efforts. Qatar Airways has been a flagship carrier, and they have taken enough healthcare precautions to manage the travelers. That's the airport for you. The Qatar exchange has been doing well. Qatar economic fundamentals are strong, as you know. If you're going to produce 127 million metric ton, if I convert everything into one fabric, it's equivalent to 6 million barrels of oil. Then you can see the financial stability. Companies which are listed there have got very strong future prospects, earning capacity as well as current valuation. If you look at it, it is not justified. But having said that, this is an opportunity we thought we should leverage and offer to international investors. We produced, reflecting the Qatar's economy as a barometer, Qatar Exchange Traded Fund. Here is the fund. This fund is a reflection of the Qatar exchange. The top 20 companies, with respect to the industry type, we brought in together. To elucidate further, let me call my head of treasury investments, Mr. Guni Skilhot. Guni, what we can offer in terms of Qatar QTF, why we should invest in Qatar Exchange Traded Fund?
Good question, and good afternoon, and guten Tag in Deutschland. Why should we invest in this particular fund? Well, if you look at the market performance since this fund was being launched almost 2 years ago, the local stock market has yielded a return of close to 20%. That puts our local market in the top 10 category worldwide. So that by itself is a strong sign. It's a good investment proposal. This also, well, if you look at Qatar through the lens of a global investors, there are two things that come immediately to mind. First, strong fundamentals, and secondly, good relative value. When I say strong fundamentals, I am referring to the state of Qatar. State of Qatar has a AA rating, which is second to none. That underpins the wider economy and underpins the strength that we enjoy here locally. In many cases, when you have strong fundamentals, you don't have good relative value. That is usually the case, the problem that we have with the investors. In Qatar, it is actually different. The strong fundamentals are accompanied by good relative value. A global investor can come to Qatar, invest in Qatari state bonds, and yield something like 2%, which is far more than one would find anywhere else. If an investor is willing to take the local currency, the yield can be up to 3.5%. And it doesn't stop there. There's also, this strength of the economy is also filtering out to a wider areas here locally. On the back of a strong government, there is also a very strong banking sector, which I don't think everybody knows about. We have a wide range of banks here, all single A rated. And for local investors willing to buy their bonds or place deposits, the returns are, I would say, second to none. So all in all, there's a lot of opportunities here for global investors.
Thank you very much, Guni. I think you summed it up well. I think we're here to support the mission. Those who want to invest in Qatar, it is an opportunity. It is very well managed. And again, it's a reflection of Qatari economic fundamentals. And it is diversified in terms of discipline. So the risk is measured, managed, and controlled. And private banking and Guni, you can work together in close coordination with the rest of our representatives and also the participants to see how we can add value for their money. Now, let me move on to the next one, where there was a question by Norbert, whether to go for onshore or offshore, what the free zone is all about. Here is my answer. What is a free zone?
Authority is establishing a cluster of free zones, including Ras Bafuntas, located beside Hamad International Airport, the best airport in the Middle East, and Al Hul, with direct access to Hamad Port, the world's biggest greenfield port development. Qatar free zones offer foreign investors 100% ownership, zero customs duty and corporation tax, no individual income tax, quick building permits, and access to a skilled workforce. On the ground, free zones also provide fully serviced plots, dedicated security, hotel and retail facilities, as well as advanced broadband to ensure optimal connectivity. While Qatar welcomes investment in any sector, exciting opportunities already exist in logistics, e-commerce, food packaging, pharmaceuticals, and plastics. With an eye to the future, we're also focused on disruptive industries, such as renewable energy, power storage solutions, and artificial intelligence. Be part of the Qatar Free Zones initiative, with everything in place, from essential infrastructure and facilities to ease of shipping and customs. Your business can flourish as a truly global player in partnership with the Qatar Free Zones Authority.
They have 3 billion allocation to support the mission as such, and Doha Bank and the rest of the team from various institutions can support this mission again. We will work together with Qatar German Business Council, and also we will introduce through our corporate finance team the opportunities in the marketplace. Qatar Investment has committed for investments in Germany. On September 9th, when the Qatar German Investment Forum took place in Berlin, there was a committed arrangements, and His Highness Amir has mentioned that. And Qatar Investment is looking for opportunities. That's what even the Minister has to say.
SME is the backbone of Qatar's economy. Presently, SMEs make up 79% of the total companies and firms in Qatar. Ali is the owner of a thriving business. He intends to expand his business by opening new outlets across Qatar. To do this, he needs the right financial support. He calls a relationship manager at Doha Bank and explains his intention to further expand the business. The relationship manager then pays a visit to Ali's factory to discuss his expansion plan and come up with a solution to expand his business. The SME relationship manager offers various products in order to serve Ali's long-term capital requirements, in addition to short-term working capital financing. He also introduces him to a range of products and services that include business loans, short-term procurement financing, invoice and check discounting, overdrafts, letters of credit, and
guarantees. See, how it works is, I have to answer to Catherine. See, when it comes to SME, every single commercial institution, commercial bank has got their own products. In addition, we have Qatar Development Bank through Al Damin programs that is partially guaranteed. 87% of my lending is guaranteed by Qatar Development Bank. So we can look at both options on the debt side. On the equity side, as I mentioned earlier, if there is a clear know-how, we can present it across to Qatar Development Bank. German know-how, we can present it and incorporate them into the programs. And a seed capital comes in, or mezzanine financing comes in. And banks can also step in to support their own debt participation. So all opportunities are open. What is Al Damin? During this COVID time, Qatar Development Bank has come out as a government promulgation, a complete waiver of rent or salaries they are giving to those institutions which are impacted. And there is joint risk participation between the commercial banks and the development bank to support those institutions which are impacted. There's a special programs, guarantees, working capital finance is being given. And there are huge turnout in these two missions. So it's happening, and it is supporting the overall backbone of the economy, that is SME. We invite German companies to explore these opportunities so that we can disseminate the information, we can facilitate directly as well as through Al Damin programs. Now, let me ask, my head of international, Andre, is there. Andre, how is our relationship with German banks? How do we further consolidate our way forward?
Good afternoon. Yes, Doctor, it's a very good question. And I may start by saying that currently our relationships with the international banks and the banks in Germany specifically is of a very high interactive and a very sophisticated level already. I may add that Mike, who is our chief rep in Frankfurt, has done an excellent job since the start of our endeavor in Germany to link up with all the German banks to market Doha Bank and Qatar for that matter, and Qatar's presence in the region. So we have interaction with the banks on several levels, starting from payments and remittances, which vary from letters of credit reimbursements to just personal remittances. But on a trade finance perspective, we can offer the German companies and banks a single point of entry into the Qatar and the GCC market, facilitating their clients to participate in local contracts, in local infrastructure projects, and or just to set up their own entity here in Qatar. So we are very well positioned in that space, and we would welcome the German companies to approach Mike or ourselves or Doha Bank here at head office to open such dialogue with them. But I would also like to provide the extent of, from international banking perspective also, we have substantial appetite for credit risk, country risk and bank risk across the whole GCC region, obviously in Qatar as well. And we've interacted with a lot of the German banks that do not have the credit appetite for the banks in the region. And we are very successful in then buying this risk of the German banks. I would also like to emphasize, obviously, that with our large international footprint, we can also replicate whatever we do here in Qatar or in the GCC region. Also, with our network across the world, we've got 14 rep offices and 6 branches across India, UAE, and Kuwait, where we can also facilitate the German companies and banks to interact with Doha Bank and give them that vital local knowledge of entering into this market to establish their business and give them the comfort of dealing with a trusted partner on this side of the region. So yes, I think in short, we are well placed to facilitate all the banks and the companies that would like to do business in Qatar to really give them the comfort of a bank that's been here for long and is a trusted partner, and we are here for the long term. So yes, I think that's in short what our relationship will be.
Our FA relations have been very profound and best of friendship and partnership over the years. You're right. Many German banks have been very supportive for our as a banking system as a whole in Qatar. We could see it over the years. Now, let me also invite our colleague on the corporate side, Ahmad Naji, how we can add value briefly.
Thank you, Dr. Sita.
Yeah.
One of the strongest, one of the important trip offices for us is being in Germany. We consider it the bridge between us and Germany. We have a strong list of clients regularly trading with German suppliers. And we have a strong network presence globally and regionally. We were able to put potential buyers and sellers in contact. We have opened a lot of accounts for a German company to have their CASA accounts. We have experience with the international companies operating in Qatar, European, Asian, North American, and we have and still financing a lot of projects by European companies. We really understand their culture, and we have many local companies who use facilities to finance purchases from German suppliers. such as automobile, electrical appliances, construction materials. We have an excellent relation with so many Qatari companies who are their dealers or agents. As an example, in automobiles, we are 40 years dealing with Mercedes, Audi, Bosch, many of the products from Germany, and for the last more than 40 years, Doha Bank having a relation for the regular supply on that. And we can introduce also Qatar company to German suppliers and vice versa. We have since we have a strong client base.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you very much.
Well said, well said. On the retail side, how do we create a special package for German companies? Makram, are you there by chance? Quickly, if you can sum it up. Any retail representation?
Good afternoon. Dr. Sita, 100 German companies in Qatar. This is a great opportunity for Doha Bank. We are there. We are dealing with many companies, German companies in the country. We are planning to refresh our relation maybe after this webinar. Mainly, we are offering our salary package, which is not only a salary, it offers one of the best, I can say, the best credit card in the market, in addition to some financial tools like car loans and personal loans. We have 20 plus branches in Doha. In addition, I can mention also that a majority of the staff working in German companies fall under our Riyada package, which is our priority or prime, let's say, banking services. Every customer will be assigned a specific RM, and they will be taking care of all their banking needs. Last but not least, let me highlight also that the COVID, one of the advantages of COVID was to push Doha Bank to improve, let's say, or to get our digital solution mature. So all the banking services can be reached now. All the customers, or retail customers specifically for German companies working here in Doha, can do all their banking needs from the mobile or digital platforms without the need of visiting the branches. So this is also something additional we are offering to our customers, and can be offered definitely to German expats working in Qatar and companies in Qatar.
That's right, yes. Good, good, Makram. Now the last, Atul, you have heard from Catherine as well as Mr. Norbert on the SME side. I think we should have a special package for small and medium-sized entrepreneurs with a purpose to reduce cost of financing and also the cost of service. Everything has to be bundled as a special case for German companies. What are the opportunities you can create for an SME?
For German companies, we can work out some package depending on the their requirements. But just to we being the leader in the industry in SME financing, so we offer complete business solution. We are not just focusing on the financial solution. So in financial solutions, we cover all type of working capital finance, capex financing, import finance is there. We have non-fund facilities like letter of credits, and we have services like payroll solution, insurance risk coverage we provide. So apart from this, we are we are a partner bank with Qatar Development Bank, and we have taken lead there also. And Qatar Development Bank, being they are into a startup financing, they are stepping into the financing of manufacturing setups, healthcare, or even education sector. They are supporting a lot. So this is a fantastic product because it gives a 10-year repayment period, and it's a holiday period of 18 to 24 months, depending on the repayment required. So in nutshell, I think we cover lots of a lot of opportunities for SMEs to grow. And in fact, like Qatar Development Bank, which is focused on the manufacturing sector, and Germans are known for setting very good manufacturing setups. I think this is a great opportunity for Germans to set up a shop.
That's right. We will work together with the Business Council and the Mission and also our friends in Germany. Now, finally, to conclude on the German side, I talked about Qatar side and the bilateral side. Just briefly, I'll sum it up. Let me move on to the EU. European Central Bank is sitting in Frankfurt, a beautiful city where our office is also there. And German economy is a very strong economy, $4 trillion economy. And even though there's a contraction this year, this will bounce back, as I said earlier. And ECB itself, essentially the two type tranches, they have pumped money, 750 billion to start with, additional 600 billion the second tranche. So it is working reasonably well in terms of overall fiscal stimulus. European companies are responding well, and the headquarters sitting in Frankfurt in Germany. And Qatar German bilateral relations, some of the glimpses, I want to show some photographs. The German Innovation Exhibition took place October 2017. It is a beauty. Watch it for half a minute.
A design lab in the center of this exhibition in Doha provides a window into some of the most innovative German techniques from the past 70 years. From the evolution of the TV, intricate furniture, virtual reality and sports shoes, each design has improved leaps and bounds, decade by decade.
You know, looking back of some of the older designs of some of the Mac computers and looking at it and thinking, my goodness, how could we even have used those, 20, 30 years ago? Looking at what we have now, we're so lucky, the advancement in design, but that's how it all started, and that's what we need to show the audience.
It also traces the development of some of the most famous German cars, which have pervaded popular culture.
Again, solar technology, it's a good alliance. Qatar invested in Solar World German Solar Art Festival in November 2017. And
here, it's all about Germany. Now, today we're at the launch of two landmark exhibitions celebrating excellence in German design. To tell us more about this initiative, I'm joined by Halil Al-Ibrahim, Chief Strategic Planning Officer for Qatar Museums. Halil, great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Can you start by telling me, Year of Culture, what's it all about?
Year of Culture basically is an exchange of culture, heritage, and sports for the full year. So we start at the beginning of the year, and it ends obviously at the end of the year, then take on the turn for the next country. And this year we're very lucky to be with partnering with Germany, and these two exhibitions are part of that.
And the next is the German Qatar Forum. It was in 2018. It is a glimpse. Again, we established Qatar German Business Forum, and Sheikh Faisal is signing an agreement with the German counterpart, and that's doing well. And with Catherine arrival in terms of their mission, we can collaborate further and move forward. Qatar investment law also has improved 100% participation. That's the next point I want to impress upon.
Qatar Financial Centre, the facts. It's in Qatar. We're a business and financial centre. We give businesses the power to do business here, here and here. And this is our pitch. We're a platform to launch businesses east to west and west to east. We like this. We're not so keen on this. That won't happen. This will happen. Setting up your business here is like this, never this. We hate closed doors, even really nice closed doors. We're like you. And because we're like you, we've organized a world where business is done the way we both like it. Fast, easy, smooth. We're green lights, blue skies, and high fives. You want to work with John, Rashid, and the Hyun-Woo sisters, and because we have them on speed dial, we can get you to the game. Not so long ago, we were this. Now, we're this. So saddle up. You're riding the Success Express, and wherever you go, we can help you grow. Qatar Financial Centre. We mean business.
We mean business. That's the bottom line. So what is in store? These are the 4 opportunities: sports, digital, financial, media. Financial Centre is an enabler for the overall business climate. It is doing a great job, and it is an enabler. We can add value. With regard to the investment law, has been redefined, as you know, 100% for foreigners can own certain specific projects. The law is permitting. Law number 1 of 2019. That's an advantage which you can leverage. Property laws have changed, and again, there are areas where you can have your own property. It could be for business, it could be for personal, residential. So there's an amended framework. There are areas. Most important thing is building a public-private partnership. That was promulgated this year, and that's a good development. And essentially, that is going to be a competitive offering. On 31st May 2020, the new law has been passed, and that will build the bridge between public and private partnership. Still, there's a scope. That's what, when I was conversing with Catherine, I was mentioning, we should explore the possibilities to further strengthen food security prospects. And a few words about FinTech. You have also a business startup, and this is where we inaugurated our office. Thank you, Ramon. After 2000s, 2011, there are multiple rounds of knowledge dissemination we did visiting Germany. We are here to improve the bilateral relationship, hydrocarbon side, non-hydrocarbon side, trade side, investment side. I've shown you some of the glimpses. This is not the end by itself. There are bigger opportunities we can create with the arrival of our new ambassador and the Business Council. We will be in a position to further consolidate our strength from where we are now. And with these words, let me thank you for your participation. Let me ask my resident representative, Mr. Mike Gallett, to say the word of thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, thank you very much. I'd like to thank all panelists for speaking and sharing the interesting insights with the audience at this event. And most importantly, let me extend my gratitude for the audience for dialing in for this webinar. We wish that everyone takes good care, stay safe and healthy during this difficult period. Thank you very much and goodbye. Vielen Dank und bleiben Sie bitte gesund. Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.